So I had this idea to create a video about some of the work I'm doing over the weekends and the evenings outside of work on some of my side projects. Since I'm doing the work anyway, might as well make some content out of it. So one of my projects that I'm working on at the moment is an app called Chunky Crayon, which is an app I made for my kids to generate a colouring book page for them to colour, but dynamic. So you get to enter in a prompt, and then OpenAI and DALL-E 3 will spit back an image that you can then colour in. So these are some of the, at the moment it's just in a simplest form, so there's no auth, there's no login at the moment, it's just anyone can go into this website, generate an image. And then the idea is that you can click into one of these images, let's say for example this one, and then you get a canvas. So this is driven by a HTML canvas, which allows you to pick a color, start coloring in a basic way. So this is like the V0 of this, so it's very basic, but you can jump into one of these and coloring in, start adding some colors. You can also download it as a PDF if you want and print it out and let your kids color it in real life. But yeah, that's the general idea. So the images are not great at the moment, so I'm still getting the hang of just prompting in general and just getting the prompts to spit out a consistently good image. And some of these are decent, like I think the giraffe one is pretty decent. But then there's some other ones like, so look, yeah, this one is a bit weird to be honest. But yeah, so gonna get more consistent with the prompts. So the general idea is that you can generate a colouring book image and then colour it or download it. So I've been working on this part of it for a while, but the part that I worked on this weekend was mostly to do with a React Native app to basically do the same thing. So after watching JSConf like a week or two ago, and the new stuff coming out of React Native and Expo, I created a new Expo app just through the new tool that they released, or you can set up a Expo project in 2 minutes. I didn't do much after that, so far the app looks something like this. So you can see here, just close it, again, so just load up the app. Just loads all the images that you had on the website at the moment. So it fetches the data and then you can click through to a specific colouring image, but it doesn't actually load the canvas or anything like that, because I'm still trying to work out how that works on React Native. And even to be honest, getting the SVGs, so these are SVGs, getting them to load inside of React Native, that hassle in itself. And then I think the canvas bit of it and the colouring bit is going to be a bit difficult. I'm going to look into React Native steer and trying to figure out that, but this is kind of what it looks like so far. Android for some reason doesn't work. I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure why it just doesn't load. So I need to figure out why it's not working, because it's just exactly the same code on both. But yeah, this is kind of where we are at the moment after this weekend, and I just wanted to dive into the changes in the code to enable that to happen. So if you look at the website first, so this was yesterday, so the main two credits are these ones. So at the moment, the website is basically using Next.js and server components. So it has an actions file, and then it has a bunch of server actions, basically to pull data directly from a database like Prisma. But that was okay for the website, but the app can't use that. So I had to create endpoints. I think they're called root handlers in Next.js. So I had to get some root handlers that were basically accessible from outside of the website. So the Android app and iOS app connect with them. So basically just taking the action I already have. So for example, this one is getting all the colouring images to display on that first page. So there's a get all colouring images action that I'm using in the web app. And then I'm just basically wrapping this in a API endpoint under /API colouring images, do the app quick access, and then get the same data basically. So that was step one. And then step two was similar kind of thing for, go back for an individual one. So exactly the same thing. So getting the server action for getting an individual colouring image, and then just basically getting that in an endpoint to give access to the app. So you can see that happening here. So on the home page, that's what's happening. Just restart it again. So as you open it, it calls that get all images and it loads. And then when you click in, even though there's not much to see here in this V0 version, but it is actually doing another API call to get the individual colouring image. And then eventually, like I said, it's going to be a canvas and you'll be able to colour in like on the web app as well. So that's what had to happen inside of the web app. And then in the app itself, what did I do? There's a bunch of stuff that happened. So this was like 2 weeks ago when I after JS, and this was during the weekend. So just removing the example app that was there, and then adding Sentry and Tails because that's what I use when I'm on the web. I did flash list as well, just because that's the optimized way of doing it in React Native, and you've got a long list of stuff that needs to be rendered. I did ESLint just to make sure that it's all looking good. And then the interesting part is just how I'm fetching the data. So on the web, I'm using server actions and I'm just directly getting stuff in the database via Prisma. But on the app, I need to make API calls. So I could do something like Axios. So I'm using Axios actually. But I could have used something like use SWR or another data fetching library. Tanstack query I've used in the past, even when it was like rep query, I think. And it's pretty good. So I added Tanstack query in, fetching the data using that. So I feel like where is that? Somewhere here. Fetching the data, matching for somewhere. What I do, create some hooks. So I created an API file, which is basically making the actual request in Axios. And then I have some hooks somewhere. I could find them. Yeah, good. That basically wraps this query from Tanstack query. That basically wraps this query, and then I'm using that inside of the page itself. So you can see here that I'm calling use coloring image, which is the hook that wraps use query that calls we use Axios to fetch the data, and then we're just displaying that inside of the view. For example, the tile there. And then for all the images, we have this coloring images component, and it pretty much does the same pattern. So I use the use coloring image hook, which wraps use query, which wraps the Axios call, and then just looping over and using a flash list to render out every single coloring image. So yeah, that's it so far. That's all I was able to do over this weekend. The next plan is to use React Native Skier, get to how that works, and get the canvas and part of it working somehow. And yeah, get the coloring up to speed to at least what we can do on the web version of it. Hopefully get kind of the same thing on the iOS and Android app. So that's the next thing on my to-do list. It's just to get it up to speed with the web, and then just keep on adding features, keep on improving, keep on iterating. Keep trying to make these videos to try to progress with.